Hustlers Horizon Podcast. What's up, listeners? Hey, episode 18's here.
18.
Hey, we have a really cool guest on here. Really good friend of mine. This guy is all over the place. Ruben On The Road. He's all over the place. It fits his name. Ruben, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Just good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, man, for sure.
Man, and you know, we always talk about thank you for taking your time to come hang with us and chit-chat with us because you truly are all over the place. So Ruben On The Road, let's talk about that. How did you get into that, and how has that been going?
Oh, it's been going great. I've been in news for 18 years. So I'm really just a news photographer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never wanted to do anything else. I like shooting and just shooting with the reporters and storm chasing and shooting football. And my general manager one day noticed, he goes, "Man, you know a lot of people."
Yeah.
He goes, "You want to try your own segment?" I was like, "Nope." I was like, "No, I'm good." And it took him about 3 months. And I told him, I go, "You know what?" I go, "I'll do it." I go, "I just don't want to be on TV." I go, "I don't want it to be
like about you."
Yeah,
your
it's
own
not
camera.
about me.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Well, let's try it." And so I found my first story, which was in Kelton, a little bitty town.
What about Wheeler? That's where I grew up.
Yeah. And I told them, I go, "Y'all want to do something?" I go, I've shot y'all's football games." And they're like, "Well, we don't have a football team." I'm like, "Well, then I've never shot y'all's football games. I've never been there."
Yeah, they don't have a football team.
Yeah, and so that was my very first one, and it's slowly been, getting popularity, and
awesome.
I've had a blast doing it.
How long have you been doing that?
That was
Ruben On The Road.
That started in, I think, November of 2022.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Yeah, I'm going on my second year of Ruben On The Road, and it's slowly, like I said, people are starting to notice me and
absolutely,
and inviting me, so which I love.
Absolutely. I mean, you get on your Facebook page anytime you post anything. I mean, right away the feedback's awesome.
Yeah.
And so to see you doing that and you're telling everyone else's story, we talked about it. I was like, you're traveling, you're telling everyone's story. Like, we got to get you in here and tell yours now, right? Everybody has a story. And I mean, but when you post anything on Facebook, the engagement that you have with people, I mean, people know you, they love you, you can tell you're a good guy. Anytime I've run into you, it's always a hug, a hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I ran into him at the concert, Mike Ryan concert. Didn't expect to see you there.
Yeah.
But man, we're excited to have you on here and really dive deep and get to learn about you. So did you did you grow up here, or what's the backstory there?
I grew up in Hereford. I lived there until I was probably about 25.
Okay.
And I ended up moving up here. I went to school. I didn't go to school for this. I actually went to school to work on wind turbines.
Oh, wow.
I'm afraid of heights. And so I was like, I might stay on the ground.
It's funny how that works out.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, and so I just got into news, and I picked it up. I picked up shooting, and 18 years later, still doing it.
That's awesome. I mean, you said you started as a photographer, and you just wanted to stay behind the camera, but you found a passion within that. And then from there, they saw the connections you're building, and you just continue to grow on it. So what is doing this, what does that mean to you as far as the relationships that you've built, and how, do you stay in touch with these people after you tell their story, and it's just like you've built friendships, you've built a family? How has that been as far as the relationship building along with what you do?
Honestly, that's the best part about Ruben On The Road is meeting everybody, and I wish I could go see everybody all the time.
Absolutely.
But if I have time, I'll try to stop and take a picture with them, or kind of give their business a shout out, because
absolutely
the whole thing for me is I grew up in the Panhandle, and we've always been forgotten, and the first thing, when you think of Hereford, the first thing that pops into everyone's mind is the cow poop and the cows.
Exactly.
And the thing is the stories I've done from there, people are always like, "Oh, I didn't know Hereford had this," or "I didn't know Wheeler had this," or Guyman had this, and that's the thing, is nobody knows we have that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just proud of where I'm from, and so I just always want to tell our story. We get forgotten, and I don't want people to forget us, and so I cover the whole 26 counties of the Texas Panhandle.
That's what I was going to ask, just the Panhandle?
Yeah, well, and then I cover the Oklahoma Panhandle, and then all of eastern New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so I go up to Clayton, to Guyman, down to Turkey,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm literally everywhere.
How often are you doing that? Is it like once a week, twice a week? What does it look like?
I do it. My stories air 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But I shoot sometimes 5 times a week. Sometimes I try to take at least one day so I can edit. Just the editing is what's hard because you're trying to think and trying to put it together. But I kind of have a routine and kind of what I want for my stories.
Yeah.
But it's just really fun, just meeting everybody and getting going and getting their story out. That's the best
absolutely.
part.
Yeah, so let's talk about the routine, right? So you're doing this, you're traveling all over. What does a normal day look like for you? What time do you get up? When do you start your day and hit the road?
I usually get up about 7:38, start getting ready and all that. I try to leave the house by 9:30. Just to give me time to get there. Just depends on where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow, I'll be going to Friona to shoot a story for our summer celebration tour. And so, but the story that's actually airing is in Canyon. And so some people think, oh, well, you're in Canyon. But I'm like, no, I shoot it ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so once I get there, I try to shoot the story, get to know them. Because honestly, when I get there, I have no idea what the story's about. I don't know what the business is about. I just kind of, off the top of my head, just start asking questions. Yeah. And then once I get the interviews done, I get my B-roll, and then I head back. Yeah. And then whatever story I've already shot, that's what I start working on as soon as I get back.
Okay.
And I try to stay ahead. And it's weird because, like, I'm ahead, but I'm behind at the same time. Like, it's just, and I literally, because a lot of people think I forget about them, and I really don't. Yeah. But I have like a stack of papers of a list of people that I need to call or that I've called and set things up. And I'm old school. Instead of putting it in the computer, I write it all down.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good, man.
And so that's my day, and most of my day though is driving.
Yeah.
Like I average probably between 800 to 1,000 miles a week.
Oh, wow.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd drive a lot. Huh.
You were talking about doing the storm chasing. You do that too?
Not anymore. I don't have to anymore, but I've done it for my pretty much 17 years.
Yeah, because we do roofing, so anytime we're looking for hell, I'll go to News Channel 10, see if they're doing a storm chase, and then whenever y'all are, like, I watch it the whole time.
Oh yeah,
it's interesting to me.
Yeah, no, and we streamed our storm chasing live, so we were streaming for pretty much 6 hours straight. Yeah, and you hear everything in the car, what we're talking about when we're like one year, the bad hailstorm that went through Hereford. Sheldon and I were there. And we destroyed a car, and we were streaming, and people were like, and I'll be honest, I was laughing in there, and people were like, I've never heard someone laughing, but if you listen carefully, it's a nervous laugh.
Yeah,
because it was either
I don't know what's
cuss or laugh, and I'm like, I can't be cussing on air. I was like, it was, but we destroyed that car, and
oh man,
I've always wondered that whenever, because y'all go into big hailstorms and stuff. Whenever that car gets destroyed, what happens? Like, y'all just go get a new one or fix that one real fast?
We fix up the windows, we fix up the mirrors, and then
that's it.
Send it back out.
Get it going, huh? Get it back on the road. That's awesome.
Really cool. I've always wondered that because I'll stay watching those.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching. I mean, he'll post it on our work chat. And it'll be like a tornado just hit the ground. He's like, who wants to go chase it? We're not storm chasers. We're not. Yeah. Like, we're not. No, I'm going to stay home and I'll go tomorrow. Yeah. When it's done.
I was like, anybody want to go with me?
No, nobody replies. Yeah. No, they're just, but, so it's awesome though, because you were saying a lot of times when you pull up to these towns, you don't even know what the story's going to be about. So that's awesome. But, so how does that whole process, let me, I guess, tell how that goes. You show up. You know they want to do a story on something, so you just show up. They tell you, "Well, we really want to do it on this," and you just roll with it.
And that's hard because, like, when Ruben on the Road started, I used to go live in the 9 o'clock show because we have 2 cars that have cameras all in them. So there's a camera on top, one pointing at the driver and one pointing out, and so we just plug in a backpack and we stream through those cars. And so I'd go live. Well, it was real awkward because I was like, I don't even know what the story's about. And Allie's asking me all these questions, and I'm like, I'm trying to think. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, I don't want to do it. I go just because I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
exactly.
And so, like, I honestly don't. So some people will be like, can you send me questions? Yeah. And I'm like, I honestly don't know what the story is because I'm working on 2 or 3 other stories. And so when I get there, while I'm setting up, I'm just asking questions here and there, tell me a little bit about what's going on, and from there,
Your idea.
and so like while I'm asking questions, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
but I'm also trying to listen at the same time because I'm listening to everything they say. Because lots of times with the interviews, I have to listen because that's what tells me what B-roll I need to get, what I need to shoot next, and stuff like that. And so and people are always like, that's hard, and I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, well, that's just the way I think, you know?
Yeah.
Because like for me, it's just an everyday secondary thing. Because I'm always asking people like at their jobs. Like I did a guy in Clarendon. He makes boots and spurs, and he's one of 3 people in the whole state of Texas that makes badges and spurs for the Texas Rangers.
Oh, wow.
And he makes all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm like, how do you think of that? Because that's how I see artists and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn and tell me, well, how do you put your stuff together? And I'm like, I go, that's a good question because you don't think. But and so from everybody I talk to, that's how I learn how to talk to the next person.
Yeah.
And just like that. But it's interesting and to me it's weird because it's just work to me.
And that's awesome though, because it's a lot of times, even when we do like the podcast, when we first started, sometimes it's better to just show up and start the conversation there, right? And as you're asking them questions, you're just talking to them. They're telling you things, so now you're like, okay, the camera's about to start rolling. Now I know what to ask. We just talked about this, so we're going to hit on this, right? And I noticed when we started the podcast, when we first started talking, I was like, do I need to write a script of the main questions I want to ask, right?
Yeah.
But then you think about it, it's too scripty.
Scripted, yeah.
So I tell people when they come in here, and just I'm sure like what you do with them, this is just conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm gonna ask you a few good questions. You're gonna say some really good answers, and out of your answer, I'm gonna think of another
Just
question
feed
to
off
ask
of it,
you. Yeah,
really.
you just feed off of it. It's conversation. So I would imagine that it was weird at first, but it works for you, and that's and all of the stories that I've seen that you do are great.
Yeah.
And so that's probably some of your best work comes from that, just off the top, man. Instead of sitting down stressing about it, what should I ask them? Let's get how deep do we want to get? What do we want to do? No, just roll with it.
And you
know?
seem like a nice guy, man. This is my first time meeting you. You can literally tell you have the good vibes. You know?
Well, I appreciate that. No, and see, that's the thing is like a lot of the young people I work with, all they know is Ruben on the Road.
Yeah.
And the thing is I've learned through all my years, but I've interviewed presidents, I've interviewed governors, I've interviewed Jerry Springer, Cheech.
Oh man, that's
cool.
cool.
I've been in the Cowboys locker room. I've gone to North Carolina to shoot a WT game. I've been to Houston. I've done
You've been everywhere.
a lot, but people don't know that part of me. And I'm like, well, that's. And the thing is I talk to them the same way I'm talking to y'all.
Yeah.
Like only one person has ever made me like, and I don't even know why, but it was I met Jay Novacek in Vega, and I think it was only because I watched those Cowboys as I was growing up, and so when he came out, I was like, "What the like? What's wrong with me?" And
you're like, I don't know.
But no, I honestly I try to treat everybody the same, and honestly, I'm not perfect. Yeah. I'm sure I've upset someone before, and I've never tried to do it on purpose, you know. And that's the thing is, and that's the whole point of Ruben on the Road. Is I love telling people stories, and that's why I don't come out on TV because it's not about me, you know. And people get nervous, like, oh, please make me sound good, and I go, I'm gonna do my best. I go because my name's on there, and if you look bad, I look bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, is my name is on it, but I'm representing News Channel 10.
Yeah.
You know, I'm representing everybody at that station because if I look bad, I make them look bad.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is I tell them, call me if you have a story. If I can't do it, you know, I'll give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I want them to trust the next person. You know, so I want to make that connection, but I also want them to trust not just me, but everybody at my station.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the whole thing is that it's not about me. Like I don't even want to do it. But I love it because I'm meeting people I never thought I'd meet, and I'm doing things like this I never thought I'd do. Because as a news photographer, you don't get any credit. You know, I've had stuff come out on CBS Evening News, CNN,
Oh wow.
and it doesn't say Ruben Flores; it says KFDA.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And nobody knows that part.
Exactly. And that's why when we started thinking out, because we get to that point to where we start doing so many episodes and it's like, who next? And I was like, man, you know, and I saw you, I had you on Facebook and I've seen what you're doing. And I was like, that'd be awesome. And just like you said, number one, no, you're not perfect. Nobody is, right? We would setting ourselves up for disappointment if we think we're perfect. We don't know it all. you're doing this because you love it, and it's not about you, right? It's always about, it's bigger than us, right? We're in front of these cameras on this podcast, and people love it. People always message me. They message him, hey, y'all are doing awesome. That feels great to hear, but at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about the people who are sitting where you're sitting. It's about you.
Our guest.
And you just also said, as photographers and those behind the scenes, you don't get credit, right? And that's why I was like, I'm finally in a position, and I have a platform to where I can do that. And I know what it's like to be behind the scenes and to not really get that credit at times, or to just whatever, you feel like, I'm just behind the scenes, and you love it, and that's how you want it. Yeah. But you have a story just like everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
So the way you're carrying yourself, the way you said you talk to everybody there, you treat everyone the same, you're building something there, a team of if you can't have that story, someone else can, right? There's plenty of stories to tell out there. And the thing about you, though, is I like that you are just going out there and you're getting all of these amazing stories that a lot of people wouldn't even think about or don't even want to bother with, right? But it means the world to our community. It means the world to those business owners, what you're doing. So props to you. Thank you for what you do for our community, Ruben. I wanted to bring you on here to say that. Thank you. Congrats on your amazing career that you have in there. I can't wait to see you just do many more stories. If you want to do a story on a podcast, I know of one. No, but I can't wait to just see all the good things that are going to continue happening for you. So I know when we talked about you coming on, you were like, man, I'm a little nervous. Yeah. And I was like,
you don't seem nervous.
I was like, and right away I was like, how? And I was like, no, he's not nervous. He works for the news.
That's what you told me. I was like, why is he nervous?
What's funny is all my 18 years, I've only been interviewed 3 times.
Oh, really?
And I was nervous, and I did a radio cast when Ruben on the Road first started. When a guy I used to work with was like, hey, Ruben, can you help me out? And I was like, sure. And I thought it was going to be like a 5-minute thing, and it was like a 30-minute line. And I was like, I don't really talk about myself a lot like that. I go, but
well, it's good to do, man, so people can get to know you.
Exactly.
A little bit your backstory. You know what I'm saying?
No. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I enjoy telling the stories, and people that know me will always go up to me like, Ruben, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just telling stories, and they're like, no, like my parents freaking love you. And they follow you, and one of the people messaging me stuff, and kind of like you said, they message you, and like that means a lot, because the thing is I don't ever want to disappoint the people I do a story on, and I don't one of my biggest fears is I don't want our towns to die. I don't, I've done some cool stories in Mobidi, and that town is just struggling so much, but I did a cool story with the jail.
The old Mobidi?
Yeah, the old Mobidi jail. That's the first jail ever in the Panhandle. And,
Oh, wow.
And that courthouse was the first in the Panhandle. And I learned a cool story there because I love history. So if I can't find a story, I'll do a history story.
Yeah.
And that jail, I never knew that Fort Elliott. Everybody knew when the soldiers got paid. And so all these gamblers would come and set up so they could take the soldiers' money. Well, I never knew Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp used to go gamble there. Wyatt Earp went to jail in that old Mobili jail. And the guy that runs the museum, he goes, yeah, I was in Dodge City and was looking up some stuff. He goes, I found an active warrant for Wyatt Earp out of Mobili. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. I go, you should have asked him if you could have it. But of course it's in their museum. I go, but that's stuff like that you would never know. And that's the best part about Ruben on the Road, that they trust me at work to find these stories.
Exactly.
And then I get to tell the stories that don't normally make the news, and brag about people that, just little things. Like I did a story on a kid in Perryton. He wanted to help after the tornadoes, and he reached out to a guy that had been on that show, Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior. He reached out to that guy, and that guy sent him a bunch of shirts. He goes, hand these out to your fellow classmates. And so the school reached out to me. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'll be there. Let's set a time up. And I don't think I've ever told anyone no. And the only thing is I can't, if I do someone's business, I can't make it a commercial. And so I try to make it about the person and why they opened that up and what it means to them to be in that town.
Exactly.
Because every town is special. You know? And
absolutely.
It's just finding the story. And,
most definitely.
Yeah, because growing up in Hereford, I'd only been to the towns that I played football against. So I'd only been to Pampa, Borger, Dumas, Amarillo. And then after getting to meet all these people, I was like, I guess I don't hate the people in Pampa, and I guess I don't hate Dumas. Because those are some of my favorite places to go. Some of the best people, and there's towns that reach out to me all the time, and I write everything down. I told them, I'll give you a call. You just give me a couple weeks. I go, because I have to cover so much.
Yeah.
You know?
What's one of your favorite stories that you've done?
One of my favorites
since you started.
Ever or
No, since you started the Ruben
Ruben
on the Road.
Well, it's gonna have to be Hank the Cow Dog. That was the best one with John Erickson.
Oh,
He's
really?
just so interesting. Yeah, that was
Where was that at?
when
Or where was it?
Oh, where I went to his ranch, and because I'd met him before when there was a fire up there, he lost his ranch. And so,
Hank the Cow Dog. That's that book, right?
Yeah, the book.
Yeah.
Where is he at? Where is he from?
In Perryton.
Oh, he's from Perryton?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
so
Did
he.
you?
Oh, for real?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and so I reached out to him again, and he was like, "Come on." He goes, "I'll meet you." And so I went back out there, and like he's just. But I think a lot of it's because I grew up in the Panhandle. He's from the Panhandle, so
Yeah.
like that book, everything, the whole.
That used to be my favorite book.
Yeah,
One of
the
those-
whole ranch.
I never knew
that's
that.
Occotree County.
Really?
You know, and that's,
I
that's
never
Perryton.
knew that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
And
That is
so
pretty cool.
yeah, and so he
Cow
signed
Dog.
some books for me, and like he's just cool. He's down
That's
to earth,
dope, man.
and so my favorite thing is too is because he's like, he goes, I love Hereford. He goes, that's where I learned that I wrote kids books.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was writing for grown-ups, and when I went to Hereford, I learned that kids love my books.
Yeah.
You know? And
Oh, yeah.
so I had to make sure to throw that in the story.
I know I read it
Yeah,
for sure.
I read that after when we take tests, or if I was just bored,
Hank the Cow Dog.
I probably still would read that
I have
if
it
I
on my
could.
desk. I have his books.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing is like people don't know what I look like, and people give me so many things. My desk is full of stuff.
Yeah.
And I have stuff, and I have a little bin, but I have a stack of caps at my house and
Yeah.
shirts and
You probably
and
do a lot of stuff, yeah.
And I'll tell you, and people are like, "What do you do? Like, why are you asking?" And I'm like, "I'm not asking for anything." I go,
Yeah.
They just give them to me, you know. And
Yeah.
and I'm thankful because this is how I get to dress because I'm not on TV, so I can wear those shirts. and
Relax,
I'm
fit,
a walking
you know?
billboard, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
and so I try to help everybody if I can, and
Yeah.
and just do my best, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do stories with my friends, like this last story I did with the Puentes. I grew up
Absolutely.
with them, and I've loved
Yeah.
them forever.
Where are they at? What was that one?
It was they have a foundation called BP Designs,
Okay.
and they have a shoe drive that goes on. Well, their
Oh,
son
okay, yeah.
passed away back in 2020,
Oh, wow.
and Brandon was a special kid.
Oh, yeah.
He liked me because he talked a lot of trash to me because I'm a Tech fan.
Yeah,
He's a
yep.
Texas fan. And one time we were at a basketball game in Lubbock, and he had just done a story with the Longhorn Network
Yeah.
because Jordan Shipley's sister took him to prom at Randall, and we were up there, and some guy recognized him. He goes, "You're that kid from the Longhorn Network." He's all, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And so they took a picture, whatever. And I go, "Man, like, well, you get that a lot?" He's all, "Man," he's like, "I own Austin."
Yeah.
You know, you just like, but that's just him having fun,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
just
And
having
Yeah,
fun.
man.
But
So the Puente family, they're great people.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
whenever I met Brandon, when I was I want to say maybe 15 years old, 16
Yeah.
years old, and I was doing Christian hip hop at that time.
Yeah.
And his parents would bring him to the concerts, and he would always be front row. And after the concerts, we'd meet everyone and talk with everyone, and he would always come up, and then we just became friends, and then from friends we became brothers. Right? That was my big brother. He'd call me every
Yeah.
day. He was like, "Hey man, I got somebody." One of the last voicemails I have from him, and I still have it till this day. He's like, "Hey man, I think I found somebody that could really take your music to the next level." He was always looking out
Trying
for
to
me,
support you.
right? So yeah, and that's that right there. I saw you did that story on him, and man, when that day came, man, whenever he gained his wings, man, it was hard, and but man, I think about that guy in everything I do, even in this, man. I'm like, I do this stuff, and I can already see him sharing the podcast, hyping it up,
Yeah.
calling me, telling me to bring him on here. So he talked a lot of crap to me too, because I'm a TCU fan. So
Oh, yeah. See, that's worse than me.
Yeah, every time they played against each other, he would text me and be like, may the best team win, but we know who the best team is. And I'm like, okay. But his parents, man, so down to earth.
Yeah.
Anthony and Audrey, the Puente family, they're just hold a special place in my heart and always will. That they're great people, and Brandon right there is that guy, man. His legacy is going to continue for sure through everything, through all of us. And that story right there was awesome that you wrote on him. So thank you for that as well, man.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is I just want to tell people stories and maybe help a business here or help a person
Exactly.
here, and like I said, I'm just proud of where I'm from.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and I've always told new people at work, or now I even tell my kids, just take pride in your work.
Yeah.
Make it worth, somebody, make it worth something to somebody.
Exactly.
And that's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've never ever said, "Oh, I'm the best," and I'm this. I won't ever say that because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm learning every day, and I want
Every
to be
day.
better every day.
Yeah.
And I just it's not that I'm better. I just have experience. That's the thing, you know, and that's the best thing, you know. I really love what I do, and I'm very thankful News Channel 10 gave me that opportunity, you know.
Yeah,
that's good that they're giving you that platform and that freedom to do that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So whenever you're not doing the Ruben on the road, what are some hobbies that you have? What do you like to do for fun? You golf, fish?
No, I need to start golfing. I play in a kickball league on Thursdays. And
okay, you're in kickball.
And then when kickball's not around, we'll do cornhole. Like I'm gonna play in a cornhole tournament in Borger this coming weekend. Yeah. I love cornhole.
Are you good?
No. But my son wants to play with me, so I'm like, well, let's do it, man. I got you. But what's funny is I did a story in Wheeler, and they made me some mini cornhole boards with my logo on it.
That's awesome, man.
With who?
7M.
7M.
It's just a lady that works out of her garage, and I only found her because the Chamber of Commerce posted something. I follow all the chambers, you know. And so I just reached out and she's like, hey, and I was telling her, I go, yeah, someone made me a wallet, and they lasered in my logo on that wallet.
That's cool.
And she goes, oh, do you like it? I was like, oh, I love it. And she goes, well, then I made you these, and I was like, oh, dang. I was like, you know, and so we're at work and we're all playing when I first got them. I haven't put up now because everybody wants to play with them. So, I go, these are mine. And so, but no, I just. I like to go dancing. Yeah, I'm an okay
two-step.
No, Spanish dancer.
We're gonna talk about that, man. So now we have to talk. You just mentioned, I didn't want to ask, Ruben. I didn't want to have to ask. But you mentioned something about you're like, I'm an okay dancer. Well, my Aunt Prissy on Facebook says otherwise. She said to make sure to bring that up. She said you're a really good dancer. Yeah. So let's hear about it. Let's hear about it.
What kind of music?
Tejano and cumbia. I like that Spanish. Because what's crazy is I could do that, but I can't dance country for some reason. Like the one less step messes me up.
Yeah.
And I'm backwards. I can two-step better, but the cumbia stuff, it messes me up. I start two-stepping.
And see, that's me too. I'm all counting in my head like 1, 2. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I start trying to follow the girl, and she's looking at me like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know.
No, but I guess, I mean, you got a good review. She said he's good.
Yeah, man. So you had mentioned that you know my family, or you know all of them, basically, right? Most of them?
I know a lot. I just depends on... If you're de Chava de Camarillos, I know most of them.
Yeah, that's my like my mom and Prissy and all them. Okay. So so you know my family.
I know most of them. I know a lot of them.
I'm sorry.
They're fun. Yeah. They're fun.
No,
I'm sorry.
And that's what's weird. Everybody's like, you know everybody, and it's not that I know everybody. I just know everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were talking just a minute ago, we were kind of chit chatting. So you said when you go places, right? And people, like you said, for the most part, you're like, no one really knows what I look like.
Yeah.
We know the impact you have, and you're starting to get out there and you're taking your selfies, so people are starting to see that. Mm-hmm. So now when you're out in public sometimes and someone stops you, they're like, hey, I know who you are. How do you feel about that? Like, how does that feel?
I honestly get a little nervous. Like like I can feel my ears get hot when they ask me, and they'll be like, "Are you Ruben?" And I'm like, I was like, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, I am." Yeah. And some people, like, if I have a magazine, I'll sign it for them and be like, just because you recognize me. A lot of people don't recognize me.
Yeah.
Because I've had one time I shot a story at WT, and a professor was there waiting with the guy that was waiting for me, and he goes, "I just wanted to meet you." He goes, "I really thought you were just a cartoon." He goes, "I thought they made up Ruben on the Road and different people were shooting stories." And I was like, no, I'm Ruben. No. I'm a real boy.
Yeah.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy.
Did you come up with that logo yourself?
No. What's crazy, it's my news director, he's like, we should do something like Wilson off of Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so we had an intern that worked there, and I never got to meet her, but she was 18, went to Cap Rock. Mm-hmm. She drew it. She was working with creative, and she drew it. And so, like, some people would be like, you should get a new logo. And I'm like, nah, I got to get to meet her. So that's my thank you to her. Yeah. So I just keep it. And so
I like it.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like, a lot of people like it.
Let me see. We can keep talking. I'm gonna open up this magazine.
But here. it's just fun, you know. And like, we have a younger guy. He's like a young version of me. Mm-hmm. He gets stopped all the time because everybody thinks he's Ruben, and he's like, Ruben.
Let's see if I'm gonna get that.
He's like, I don't want to.
Ruben on the road.
He goes, everybody thinks I'm you. And so I posted a picture with him where I'm hiding behind him. And I'm like, this is Gabe. I'm Ruben. He's not Ruben. I am.
That's awesome. I like the logo. I like that you're behind the steering wheel. You're still hitting that. And that's a representation of your personalities. Because that's the first thing you were saying when you got here. You're like, I don't really like to be seen. Yeah. I like to kind of stay behind the camera, behind the scenes. So that logo's perfect. He's like, you can you can see me, but not all the way. Yeah. You know. That's awesome. So what you've been doing this and it's going good. I want to ask though, what is the vision for Ruben on the Road for the next 5 years or even 10 years for you?
Honestly, that I don't know. I honestly don't try to think that far ahead. Just and it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I'm so busy. My week is
I can only imagine.
Very hectic. And every now and then I'll shoot something on the weekend. Mm-hmm. I sometimes I need a rest because the driving is what kills me. Yeah. You know, I'm not as young as I used to be, and so some days my back is killing me. You know, but it's good. And honestly, I don't know what the vision is. I hope I can keep doing it. One thing I would like to do is get out of our viewing area just a little bit, just so people out. Because what's weird is I have people that follow me across the nation. Yeah. But I have like 10 countries that follow me. And I'm like, how the heck did they... But it's off of News Channel 10, though. That's how they find me. Yeah. But I would like to show a little bit further. More, just the way those people, though, because they're like us. They get left out as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that way we can show them, but they can come to our places. You know, exactly. Come visit our towns.
So you can expand. Yeah. You can expand and tell more stories beyond the panhandle, right? Yeah. You know, and... So that right there, I mean, that's a good vision in itself. Yeah. And you're on the way to it already. I mean, you're traveling already. You're doing... I give you props for how much driving you do, though. It gets to the point, man, even driving to Canyon sometimes, I'm like, God, Lee, I just... No.
Yeah. And see, and that's crazy. Is I did a story in Plainview, but Plainview is not our viewing area. That's Lubbock's. And so I had to kind of like fight, but I wanted to do something on the Jimmy Dean Museum. Okay, yeah. And but what's crazy, that's closer to us than Guyman. Yeah. And Guyman, I have to go to Guyman. It's closer to us than Childress.
So you have to stick to your viewing area to go do the... Okay.
And so I could do some of the border towns because they get both us and Lubbock. And so I can... So like Muleshoe I could go to probably, you know, like some of the closer towns. But yeah, no, it's cool, you know. And what's funny is talking about the, you know, where people are starting to know me. Had some buddies that went on a cruise in Mexico. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're like, Ruben, you're never gonna believe this. And I'm like, what? You know, they're like, we met some guy, we made friends, and we told him we were from Amarillo, and that guy was from Wisconsin. Oh wow! And he goes, I've been to Amarillo. He goes, there's a guy on the news where you don't see his face. And they're like, Ruben, and he's like, yeah, that guy. And he was cool. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I honestly don't know. I'm just telling stories.
And you're Hispanic, right? You're Mexican? Yeah. Where are you? What part of Mexico? Hereford. So your parents.
Yeah. Shout out to the white faces, right?
My mom. That's a good question. She's gonna be mad at me, but my mom was born in Mexico, but my dad was born in the valley, in the Rio Grande Valley, and so.
What part of Mexico? You don't remember?
That's where she's going to be.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'm going to start saying that. What part of Mexico is your parents from? Yeah. Hereford.
Hereford. Like Hereford. That's what I was Little Mexico. I'm from Little Mexico in Hereford.
No, in Wheeler, that's where I grew up. And then there's a little back road with I don't know what to say, but we call it Little Mexico because there's like a Little Mexico over there. They had chickens, cows in their front yard. It was just crazy.
I think every town has that, though.
You think so? Yeah. The small towns.
We even have it here in Amarillo. I've been to it, and I'm just like,
what would we consider Little Mexico here?
Here? Oh.
He's like, let's not get in trouble.
Okay, never mind.
I'm representing.
No, but yeah, that's what we'd call it, Little Mexico.
Little Mexico. But I used to tell people too, though, like, where are you from? Like, Little Mexico. They're like, where? And I'm like, Hereford. I'm like, I don't know. Like, you know, it's just. But no. Like I said, but it's. I am proud, you know, to be Mexican. A lot of people don't know that I am. A lot of people think I'm white. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm out dancing, people have asked me to dance. And then they're like, oh, you know how to dance? And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, well, I'm Mexican. And they're like, I thought you were white this whole time. And I'm like, nah.
And you speak Spanish, too? Fluently?
No, not fluent.
No?
I understand. I really do understand everything. Yeah. We used to have a girl with our work, because we have News Channel 10 and Telemundo. Mm-hmm. And so I had a friend named Zulema that worked with me. Mm-hmm. And what was crazy is she would talk to me in Spanish. I would talk to her in English. And one of the guys would always be like, "That's disrespectful. You shouldn't do that." And I'm like, "No, honestly, she's helping me with my Spanish, and I'm helping her with her English, because she was trying to work on her English, but that's just how it is. Because like with Telemundo, we have girls that are from Colombia. I've worked with people from Bolivia.
That's
they're from everywhere, and and that's the same with News Channel 10. We have people from all across the country, and these girls, like I used to work with a girl named Julia Bag, blonde hair, blue eyes. She was fluent in Spanish.
Oh, really?
And so when we, because she actually got hired for Telemundo, but she was so good, they brought her over to Channel 10. And now her and her sister are working in Miami, because that's where they're from. But we would go somewhere, and she would ask someone to do an interview, and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't speak English," so she would bust out in Spanish.
That's
and then
cool.
just their eyes, and you're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Ha ha," like, you can't get away.
No, that's dope, man.
But yeah.
So working for the news station, and you being at the studio, and how does that feel to be around that? Like, I've always wondered. I don't think I've ever stepped foot in any of the studios here.
Either.
Seen the lights, the cameras, everything.
I do hear, like, whenever they go live, there's the Telemundo people talking on the background while they're doing the live. Is it all together?
We're all in the same studio. So like, what's crazy is Telemundo is recorded, and Telemundo actually does a newscast for. So they do Amarillo, and they're here in Amarillo, but they do a newscast for Tyler, Texas, and Lawton, Oklahoma, and so they make it seem like they're in Lawton, or they make it seem like they're in Tyler, but they're doing it all here in Amarillo.
I got you.
So News Channel 10, everything we do is live.
Yeah.
So we're on all day. So we start at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
5:30, 6:30, and then we do a 9 a.m. and then we have the noon. And then we have 5, 6, and 10.
Like 10,
But then we also have the chat that we do at from 7 to 9, and that's with KGNC. And so that's over the radio and on News Channel 10 too at the same time.
I like what they're doing though. There's so many different segments they're changing it.
Yeah, because we have we have TPSN, and then we have the Sports Drive.
The Sports Drive.
We do.
Who does the Sports Drive now?
It's Preston taking over because we lost 2 of our sports people. So Preston is our new sports director. We just got a new kid from he went to Arizona State. Zach, he's brand new. Zach, I'm sorry I forgot your last name. And then we have a new girl coming in, which I haven't met yet.
We're actually doing y'all are gonna be out. We're doing a build in a roof in Borger, and a girl Canyon. Is it Canyon?
Canyon?
Yeah, she's gonna be out there doing a story.
That'll be tomorrow.
Okay. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going, right? You'll be there. Be there.
Be there. Canyon's cool.
I'll be there.
Today she was in Clarendon. Yeah, she was in Clarendon today shooting her summer celebration stuff. So yeah.
I forgot it was tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow at 9. She'll be there at 9.
No, that's awesome. Like I said, I like the whole how they're just changing it up. And there's different little segments and like what you're doing. Yeah. I see the Sports Drive. I love the Sports Drive. If they're hiring, just call me up.
Yeah. And those people, a lot of the people up there are young too, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that Sheldon kid, he's really good.
Yeah,
and then there's another skinny guy. I don't remember his name.
That's Tanner.
Tanner, yeah. They're really good.
Because we're the only ones that have 4 weather guys. So we have Kevin Selly, Dopper Dave, Tanner Brammer, and Sheldon Brashears. And Sheldon's actually from Portales.
Oh, well.
Okay.
He grew up at Portales, but he's a buff.
A buff.
All right, go Buffs.
Yeah.
Hey, one time they were doing a storm chase, whatever, here on Bell Street. It was flooding, and I guess it was 2 girls. You had 2 girls doing it, and I guess they forgot the microphone was on, and they were just saying some crazy stuff. Everybody just writing on the chat, "Hey, we can hear you." I was just listening. I was like, "Man, that's."
It wasn't this girl.
No, it wasn't. It was 2 chicks. I don't remember who, but
Good thing you don't remember. Let's not get them in trouble.
They're probably not here anymore.
No. But no, that's so you were saying earlier, like you didn't even go to school to do any of this kind of work, and it just kind of that's crazy.
Fell in his lap.
That's awesome. I was just wondering how that works to get into something like that because I actually went to school. Not for it. So when I started, I went for radio, TV broadcasting. That's what I wanted to do. That was going to be. I still may do it. Who knows? I may come out of nowhere. I don't know. Yeah. Stay tuned. But I did that, and then. I ended up getting my associates in business, but I have my certificate to do radio and TV, right? They changed it up.
Yeah.
Like, cool, so, but I love this. I love what, like we were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
To be able to do this, and this is my way of interviewing people and telling stories, and it's just get a little bit of everything. I get to talk, can see myself on the camera.
Yeah, edit.
That's great stuff.
And
yeah.
it is weird because every now and then I'll think that 'cause when I first started, I was like, what the heck? I was like, that's Dr. Dave or that's Walt Howard, you know, and now it's work because like I'll be honest, I don't really watch the news, but it's because it's my job, you know, and sometimes you have to separate work from your personal life, but it's especially when I see new people like Canyon, we're talking about Canyon, seeing them grow.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, like I remember when you first started, you were horrible, and now you're doing great. You know what I mean? Like honestly, because even me, like we were talking about that today. Like I go at the parade in Canyon the other day, that someone was waving at me, and I was like, who is that? And then she messaged me. Well, it was my very first partner. I always call him my partner in crime, but the first reporter that I worked with every day, and that was back in 2006, and. But I was laughing because they all think I've been good this whole time. I was horrible when I started, like horrible. Nobody would take me to go shoot. When I worked the weekends is where I learned to shoot and to work and because I was tired of them not taking me, you know. And then and so it's cool seeing that because I was there, you know. And so when you see it and like I tell you before, like I hate when people are like you're the best and you're the best at do that, and I'm like no I'm not. Like I just care about my work, you know, because you never know who's going to see your stuff. You never know who's going to see your video, who's going to see your story. And so, like I did a story with Casa, and I'd been talking to him for a year. I met him last year at Summer Celebration. And I told him, we'll do something. Just call me. I go,
what is
something. That? Casa's, they're advocates for kids. So like say a kid got taken from their home, and then they're at court. And these people interview the kids and talk to the kids and kind of are like the voice for the kids in court to see if and what they want to do is try to get them back with their families. And so they try to make sure that it's not a bad place for them to go, stuff like that.
And is that here in Amarillo?
There's one in Amarillo. Okay. There's one in Pampa, Dalhart, Hereford.
Oh, they're all over.
And so, there's different
That's
ones.
Cool.
But
That's
I did something with Pampa, and then I get a message. My daughter gets a message that I was on their national feed where every casa in the nation sees it. Oh, wow. And I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. That's exciting, you know, because there's a lot of great people in our area. In every town, every person has a story, like you said. We just have to find it and talk to people and meet people. And I think where we live, it's just me because I'm from here, but I feel like we live in the best place in the world because we all help each other. We're there, and that's the thing. You know, that's funny because one time I was with Judge Tanner, and people always say, "Oh, the panel's so ugly. It's so flat. And it's yellow." The thing is, if we look like Dallas, we'd be Dallas. If we look like Colorado, we'd be Colorado. And like even when I drive to Hereford, it's flat, and I'm like, you know what? Like God doesn't make mistakes. You know, this isn't a mistake. You know, and that's the thing is I don't want to be in Dallas. I don't want to be in Houston. I want to be here because this is where I'm from. This is what made me who I am.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing is I'll never treat people the way some people from those other places treat me. You know what I mean? Like I would never treat them like that, you know, and at least I hope not. I don't want to be, I don't ever want to treat people bad, you know?
No, absolutely not.
But you know, I'm not better than anybody, and the Panhandle isn't ugly.
No, it's not. But you go out and see those trees, and
there's trees in Wheeler. There's trees over there on that side of the Panhandle.
You just got to drive a little bit. You'll see them. No, I agree with you though. This, like you hit it right on the money. I mean, Amarillo is my home. This is what made me who I am, and I love this city. And yeah, it's not the funnest at times, but I can go out of town. I'll go to Dallas, but I love coming back home. Because that traffic over there, no thanks, man.
Austin,
Dallas. You ever catch yourself when you're like, go out of town, like to Dallas or somewhere where like the speed limit's crazy, and you're pulling back in Amarillo and you catch yourself going like 80 on the highway, and then you're like, then it makes me have road rage. I'm like, why are they driving so slow? Oh wait, the speed limit's 60.
60, you've been driving 80 the whole time.
85. That's how I feel just driving to our smaller towns here. Because I'm like, why is the speed limit 30? I'm like, what the heck?
And then they change 35.
Yeah.
Like 200 yards.
Like how do you expect me to go from 30. 75 and then you want me to go down to 60 and then you want me to go down to 55 and then a minute later now I got to go all the way down to 30. I'm going to get pulled over somewhere along the way.
And anyone from work listening, I do not speed.
No, man, don't speed, especially in those little towns. They're watching you, man. They're watching you.
They'll get you.
Yeah. So on top of this, though, you love what you do. You travel, you're telling stories, and, man, again, they're awesome stories. But you have hobbies. Surely you have something you like to do for fun. And let's not say just work, because you said you dance. We know you have some time, Ruben, to dance.
I really don't do a whole lot.
No?
I really don't. If someone invites me to stuff, I'll go.
Yeah.
I just.
So you said kickball, dancing.
Yeah, you said
I play
kickball,
softball.
Okay.
I do all kinds. I do a lot. I do more than I can think of right now.
Yeah.
It's just, but honestly, if I'm around my kids, I'd rather hang out with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How's your support system? How?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. I love my family. My friends are great. Like honestly, if you looked at my Facebook, I have over, I don't know, I have a bunch of friends.
You got a lot of friends.
But I hang out with one person.
Really?
There's one person I trust, and he's my best friend. But I have people I grew up with in Hereford, like you know, that are here. That if I call them, that I come here, you know, we got you.
Yeah.
But it just if I'm doing something different, I'm with my one of my buddies. He's got a restaurant here in town, and I'm usually with him.
Yeah.
But like you know, if there's something going on Saturday, hey, let's go to this. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Or on a Sunday. But lots of times, honestly, my week is so hectic for me. Sometimes on the weekends, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, you just want to chill.
Yeah.
Because the thing is I meet so many people and talk to so many people. Sometimes I just need a cool down.
Yeah.
And kind of get my mind straight, because my job isn't hard. It's hard mentally.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
you have deadlines, you have this, and then people want you over here, and people want me over here. Because there are some people they think I can just do a commercial for their business, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
We have a sales team for that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I go, mine is more about bragging about what your town has to offer.
Yeah.
And see, like, one of the hardest things for me is that, like, a town will be like, oh, we have our citywide event. And I'm like, well, I can't really do events because my stories don't air that same day.
Yeah.
So it's like if I shoot it on a Friday or Saturday, it's going to air on a Thursday. And I'm like, look what you missed last week, you know, type of deal. And
that's how kind of we are.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, I and it's really not that stressful, but I stress myself out because I want to make people proud. But then when the weekend comes, I'm like, I don't really want to do nothing, you know.
Well,
but
it's your social battery. I always say
you
that.
talk about that a lot.
I talk about that a lot because I love people, and I love going out and hanging out with friends and family. But you get to a point sometimes. I have my days where if there's nothing on the calendar, that's how it's going to stay. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do nothing. I'm going to stay in bed all day, or I'm just going to you just want to be relaxed. It's not that you want to shut people out, but you have to reset, because especially what you do, reset for the weekend, because you got to do it all over again the next week, right? Yeah. So that's awesome. But at least you still make time to go out with your friends if they invite you, or hang out with your family. Yeah, go dancing, break dancing.
With their exam.
And see, that's one weird thing about me. I always feel like if I say no to my friends, I'm like, no, I have to go because they won't invite me again. Because my friends are jerks like that. No. I honestly, though, I feel like my friends are because the thing with me is I'm very loyal. If they treat me, I'm there. You're my friend for life. You know? But there's some people that have done me wrong, and the thing is, I try. I'm at the age where I'm like, I don't want to hate nobody.
Yeah.
You're just not part of that no more.
Yeah,
You're just another person to me, you know. And so when I do stuff with my friends, I have the greatest friends. I feel like the greatest friends ever. They're there for me, and they will take care of me if I need it. My family's the same way. They're there for me. You know, I love my family. I love everybody. You know, the thing is it's just I can't always be there all the time, you know, and that's the hard part. It's like, it seems like I'm there, but sometimes I'm not there up here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, I'm just tired. I'm exhausted,
most definitely.
You know, and but it's like I wouldn't change anything. I really wouldn't.
That's awesome.
Because and seeing the way y'all are asking me questions, sometimes when I'm out, people will ask me, like, they start talking to me, and they'll be like, Ruben, we're friends forever now. And then they're like, you're not married? And I'm like,
no.
I'm like, nah. I'm like, no.
You got a lady or no?
No.
Are you looking?
Nobody wants me.
No?
And so I was like, well.
Are you looking? No. Are you looking
man,
for?
Dog, he just opened up a can of worms. He just opened up a can of worms. Nobody wants you, Ruben. You can't say
on the
that.
road.
I know it's
Ruben's
crazy.
on the. He's busy. He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna see him have one like in Hereford, Guru, one in every town.
Not that was maybe a long time ago. I'm too old for that, and I can't afford it now. Can't afford that. No. I mean, of course we're always looking, but
If it comes,
it's busy, you know.
Yeah, it's
and
busy.
And that's the thing. And I'm also the type, like with some women, it's like I'm like I don't want to like really bug you. I know you're busy too, so I'm not going to bug you. Don't you know? But I don't know. I mean, you know, there's people I've talked to.
Yeah.
But I also have to be very careful because I want someone to want to be with me for me.
Yeah,
you know,
not
for
the
Ruben on the
clout,
road.
not the clout.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, I don't see me like that. Like I think it's so weird when people are like, "Well, I want to meet Dr. Dave and Ruben." I'm like, what? Like you don't want to meet me. Like meet Dave. He's the interesting one, you know. And Greg and Lindsay, they're the you know.
No,
I'm
you
just
gotta
me.
you gotta give yourself enough credit, man. You know, I mean, that's normal. We're our biggest critics, but you do a lot. You do a lot of good, Ruben, and that's why we brought you on here to learn your story and to just give you props time and time again.
Yeah, it was great, man. You have a good story.
Well, I appreciate it.
It's
No,
so
you guys
great.
made it because I really was nervous. I was like, man, I'm all like
No,
stressed. I'm like,
it's just conversation. It really is. And you know, if someone messages us asking if he's single or interested, then you know we'll set
send it
you
over
up,
to you.
man. Yeah, we'll
Thanks.
send it your way. We'll keep
Thanks.
it on the down low.
Yeah,
No, but I'm
I
gonna
have
ask.
standards though.
Okay,
Yeah,
Just playing.
Well, I'll have a whole checklist.
I'll bring it in. Have it in the car.
It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there. That's what I gave you that for.
That's funny.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
No,
you're good. We're
What were you
back.
saying about the rattlesnakes?
Oh no, that story was really cool. But
What was it?
like people get it's a guy they train he does pest control.
Okay.
But they also train dogs to be able to find rattlesnakes. That
wow.
way, if you're out walking and there's a rattlesnake, the dog
Barks.
will bark at it. That way, he won't get close and get bit, or you can get bit.
Unless it's a Chihuahua, they can get bit.
Yeah, they can get bit too. But like I said, some people get nervous. And I'm like, nah, we're just talking. Like we're having a conversation. Like the camera's not real.
Yeah.
Like going up, and plus I'm gonna make you look good. You know, because I don't want you to look bad. I want people to come to you and trust you and want to come visit you and because it's some interviews. It's work.
It's work.
And but lots of times it's a good work because the interview's going good, and I'm like, man, I can. You gave me something to work with, and I'd rather have that where I have to put a bunch of bites together.
We were just talking about that. Like, this is probably gonna be our longest interview.
This will be our longest podcast.
That's
Ruben
crazy.
On The Road officially is Hustlers Horizon podcast longest episode right
Can
now.
you get me a plaque or something?
Yeah, we'll
Get
put it
you
up
a
there.
flag, man. Yeah, so but you know, that's how the conversation, it's going good. Not that our conversation before weren't going good, but it's just, you can kind of, once you're conversating, you can kind of feel it from the guest or something. They're kind of like, okay, I don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah, but he just keeps it going.
You've given us a lot to talk about.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
No,
you're
don't.
good.
You
It's good.
like, it's interesting. It's good stuff to talk about.
It is.
So, so you jumped into this, and man, you went to school for something totally different, and you got this opportunity. You're running with it. You're all over the place. You're doing great things. We've heard so much about you. We heard that you're single. That you're looking, but you got standards. That's a good thing. So if ladies, if you're single, I got somebody for you. But no, we've learned so much for you. We've learned so much about you, and it's interesting to hear the background. Also, shout out Hereford White Faces. It's where my family, a lot of families from. Yeah, it's Hereford White Faces. So Ruben, I want to ask you this though. It's my favorite thing to ask on the show. You took this leap, something totally different. You didn't even know if you really wanted to do it. There's a lot of fear, a lot of trials and tribulations, right? You're learning as you go. Somebody wants to get into this industry, right? Whether they're younger or older. Maybe they want to do the same thing you're doing, or they just want to start a business or just really spread their wings, go and go for it. Go do something that they've been wanting to do forever. They come up to you for advice. What's that advice you'd give them?
Try it. Do it. Because you don't always get that second chance to do it. You know what I mean? And if you have that opportunity, I say go for it. Even if it's news. Like I always tell people with news, like, oh, they'll do it for a year and quit. The thing is with news, it's either you love it or you hate it. There's no in between because it's a lot. It's a lot on your family. It's a lot on you. And it's just like anything else. If you're starting a business, like I have a friend, she's trying to start her business. And she's all excited for it. And I told her, do it. Like, well, you're smart enough, you could do it. And the thing is just having the confidence to do it. And I'll be honest, I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid to do anything. I'm very set in my ways, you know?
Yeah.
And the reason why I got into news was because I started in sales at News Channel with Telemundo, but I wasn't good at it. And the general manager was like, man, he goes, you work good. He goes, you want to try shooting? And I was like, well, I still need a job. I was like, I'll try it, you know, and that's just something I'd like, and it clicked.
And you got that job from taking the other job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's just, I just had fun with it. And that's the thing is, if you are trying something new, go for it. Try it. Because because that's how you're going to know if you like it or not, you know? And if you don't like it, then you can try something else. If you do like it, you found something you love, you know? But that's the thing is, when you find something you love, it takes work. Yeah. And you have to work for it, and you have to keep trying, you know? And like I tell people, I go, I don't have a lot. I'm not rich. I don't make a lot of money doing this, but I love doing this. And the thing is I've been fortunate enough that I could make a living doing it. And would I change anything? Probably not. The only thing I do, and I hope my bosses are listening, when football season comes around, I do want to shoot football because they might not let me, and I'm all sad because it's going to break my streak. I have an 18-year streak, and I want to go 19. But no, that's the thing is just
go for it.
Go for it. That's all you can do, you know, because I've seen all the different people you've interviewed is they had to start from somewhere. You know what I mean? And they had to take that leap.
Yep.
And they had to try. And the thing is if you have a good support group, they're going to help you with that. They're going to take care of you. And they'll be there. Like any of my friends, I could call them and they were going to have my back, you know, and they're like, we're here for you and we're proud of you, you know, and that's
awesome.
That means a lot to me.
Right there.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
Yeah,
well, that's good advice.
Yep.
I mean, that's great to just go for it and try things because you did it and it opened up another door for you, right? And and it was something you didn't even think, like, I don't think I'm really going to like this, but let's give it a shot, right? Well, Ruben, we appreciate you again for coming on today. We've had fun. We're excited, man. What an honor for you to be our longest episode on the podcast so far. That's awesome, man.
The most nervous one.
The most nervous one. Hey, the most nervous one. And, you know, we had a good conversation and learned a lot about you. Thank you, Ruben, for telling everyone stories. Thank you for what you do for the community. To the subscribers, to the listeners, thank you guys so much for your continued support week in and week out, man. We just love what we do. We love the guests we have on. And today we were honored to have Ruben on the road. He's all over the place. Be looking out for him. And when you do see him out there, you know what he looks like now. Bombard him, ask him for his autograph, take some pictures. If you know anybody who's single, you know, send him his way. But again, Hustlers Horizon Podcast, the podcast where we hustle up, level up, shift the mindset to build a better us, build a better business. We hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you next time.